Hello, welcome to Laser Cut and Fly. On this channel, I'm going to show you how to get free plans off the internet, how to convert them for your laser, how to cut out the components and build and fly your own aircraft. And with old timers like this, I'll show you how to convert to radio control. Let's get going. Hello, I'm the Laser Model Guy, and this is part one of a series where we build the Hawker Hurricane. In this first part, what I'm going to do is upload this plan onto the computer. I'm going to do that by scanning it in. Now, you can download free plans from the internet, and I'll show you how we do that, and I'll show you where to find them. But however you get your plan, once it's on the computer, we can then start working with our program to convert it into laser plans, and we can make our components. In order to make our components that we're going to be using to build the aircraft, I'll be using the Lightburn program in conjunction with the SculptFun S9 laser cutter engraver. And from that we'll be able to make sheets of components, or we'll be able to range our components, and when we cut them or print them out onto our balsa, they'll just pop out very simply, and then we can use those to make up our aircraft. And we'll be doing that step by step, all the way from putting the plan on the program to flying the aircraft. In this first part, we'll be uploading the plan, identifying and separating out all the components, putting them onto Lightburn so that they're all neat and arranged nicely, get them very precise, make sure they're all the correct size, and then sending them off to our laser and cutting out the components. And that's what the plan is for today. So you'll be able to produce something like this by the end of this session. So this is a photograph of the plan that we're going to be using. Now, you could work from a photograph, but the sizes would be a little bit dependent on the camera. So we're going to be working from a scan, but I just wanted you to see the overall picture of the plan to start with. It's the Mark 1 Hurricane. Now, if we come off there and we have a look at these are the scans that I've taken. Now, you can see that the components are quite clearly shown. This is the tail section, and this is the fuselage section, and we'll be able to take those components in isolation and make a pattern on Lightburn from them. So if I show you another section, on this part here you can see all of the formers for the body, for the main fuselage, and the formers from the wings here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to move those to Lightburn, and we're going to make clear, precise patterns from them, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. So this is Lightburn, the Lightburn program. I'm not going to talk you through how to use the program or what all the tools do. All we're going to do is focus on what we need to do to create the components for our aircraft. So in the normal way, we would go into File, and you would search, or we're going to import, and then you'd search through your files, desktop, plane plans, Hurricane, until you find the file that you want, and then you import it in. You just double click and import it in. Now what we've got here, this is one of our scans, and it's got all of the formers for the main fuselage. It's also got the formers for the wings, or for the main wing. So this is what we're going to be working through. We're going to be creating these and showing you how to make those components ready to laser cut. Now, this is a scanned file, and what we need to do is we need to copy it into Lightburn as a Lightburn file. So if we right click and then we come down to the bottom, we can trace this image. So we trace the image, and there are some settings here. Now I find for what we're doing for creating components, these settings, the default settings, are just perfect. They're absolutely spot on. So we click OK, and then we can grab that trace and drag it over to one side, and then we no longer need the scan. So we can come back, click on that, select the scan, and then we can delete that scan. So we've now got our trace. I'm going to move it over to this side because I want to use this space here for creating our components. Now, this is still one big file, or one big picture, one big drawing. So what I want to do is I want to separate all the components, and the way to do that is to right click on the file or on the drawing, on the trace, and come down to ungroup. We select ungroup, and these are all now separate components. You can see if I click on the outer line there, it only lights up the outer line. If I click on the inner line, it only lights up the inner line. So we've now separated every part of this trace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this component down to here, and this is the one that we're going to work on to start with. So how to do this? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the outer line here as our component. Now if I were to just take that, you'll see that where the stringers go along the outside of the aeroplane, there aren't any cutouts marked, so I'm going to have to put those in. And in order to do that, I'm going to use the marks from the plan to show me exactly where they need to be. So this really needs to be superimposed back to where it was. I just brought it over here so that you could see that there weren't any shapes. Now to get it back, or to reverse any move I've just done, just press Ctrl and Z, and it will flick straight back to where, or it'll undo your last action. So what I want to do now is I want, on the outer edge, I want to put these cut-ins so that the laser will cut those out. Okay, the way to do that, or the way to alter this outer shape, is to come across to this side and you come to nodes, or the node tool. If I click on that, everywhere in this shape where there is a change of shape or a change of direction or a change of form, you'll find a node appears, and we can move those nodes. We can change the shape of this by moving those nodes, and again what I'll do there is press, if you ever make a mistake and drag one and suddenly think, oh, how am I going to get that back where it was, all you need to do is press Ctrl Z and it will undo that last move. So what I want to do is I want to, in this outer line, I want to create this cut-in, and the simple way to do that would be to bring a node down to there, bring this one in, bring another node down to there, and then maybe straighten that one a little. And then if I was to come off nodes, if I were to bring that across to this side now, down to here, you'll see that, oh, I've dragged both. Let me just undo that, Ctrl Z. Let me just grab the outer one. If I were to grab that, you'll now see that there is a cut in, and when we use our laser program, it'll cut that out. Okay, so I've now created the cut for the stringer to sit in, and what I need to do is progress round and do the same. So if I click back and go back to, now if we look here, what we find is we don't have a big bunch of nodes like we did over here. What we've got here is there's one roughly on the outside and one near the inside, near the outside on this side. So if we hover over the line and press I, that will insert a node. If we then click on that node and press C, that will make it into a corner node. So if we bring that down, then we can straighten up the corner as such. And then create another node here, I, and then press C to make it a corner node. And these strings pointing out to the sides, they determine the direction of the line coming out of the corner. So if we direct that towards where we want it to be, and direct this one towards where we want it to be, you'll see it straightens out those lines nicely. This one here needs to just come in slightly, and then we can point that one down to there, and that will make a nice sharp corner. And then we progress on and do the same up here. Now what we've got here is the two lines on the original plan have connected to our outside lines, so we've got this big lump. We don't need to worry too much about that. I'll show you how we'll deal with that. So we just pull one of our nodes down, one of our corner nodes down, and then we pull another corner node down. I'm grabbing all the outside bits. Pull another corner node down, and all we need to do with these is, if we highlight them and then press D, it will delete those nodes. So this one here is now, if we delete that one as well, this one here now wants to be the corner. It needs to come down a little. There we go. So if we straighten these up, if you scroll in, you'll find that you get a lot finer control. So I think we can delete these just by pressing D, or highlighting them and then pressing D, and then we can move this to just outside of the Now the thing is, once we zoom into this level, you can see how rough the actual picture on the plan is, because these are obviously drawn lines and this is the outside of that line. But when you're talking about maybe 1/100th of a millimetre or such, you'll find that once we look at our finished product or our finished article, it'll be absolutely spot on. Now with this slot, what we're looking at now is the outside of the line, but you'll see that that's a lot thinner than this, because when we've cut in, we've gone to the outside of the cut in lines, which makes it a wider slot. So what we would need to do with this is bring it to these lines here in order to make sure that 1/8 material will fit in that slot. So if we bring that one until it's above that line, bring this one to the corner of the line, we can just remove all the ones in between by highlighting them and pressing D, and that will bring us straight onto that line. So we'll do the same with this. Delete, highlight and delete, and now you see that we've got our curve as it was, but now we've got this slot in the middle. Okay, similar here. Let's insert a node there. Insert, then click on it and make it a corner node by pressing C. Bring it down to the corner, straighten that leg up there, and then maybe bring this one, there we go, bring this one, if I can find the right one, bring this one down to the bottom corner, straighten that tag up and that one, and then just delete by pressing D. And then if we bring that round, so you can see how you can manipulate these nodes. Come to the next one. We've got one there already. If we bring that back, we can bring this round. We need to insert a node here, so press I and select it, and press C to make it a corner node. If we bring that upright and take this out a little, and then we need to bring this one, maintaining this parallel distance, and then come straight down, and we'll find that that is probably and that will be spot on for that. Okay, there's a few other little anomalies here, but if we click off node at the moment, now if we bring our outer line down to here, we can now delete the inner line and all of the other stuff. By highlighting it all and then pressing delete, you'll find that we've now got this component made. That is now a trace image that will print straight from Lightburn. So the last thing for us to do now is put the label on this component. We're going to use our text tool over here, and we will create text, and I've set this to 5mm. I'll set it to, and then we'll just put our label in there, which will be B1, and then when we come off that, we'll find that these are two separate items. They're separate, independent. So what we want to do is we want to group that by right clicking, and we click group, and everything that we've selected is now part of one item. So there we go. So we'll carry on doing that now, and then when we get all of the fuselage formers done and some of the wing formers done, we'll make up a sheet here that we'll be able to print and make best use of our balsa wood. I'll show you what that sheet looks like in 1 minute. Okay, so I've completed all the components, and this is them now laid out in the workspace, ready to cut. In the next program, or part 2 of this series, what I'm going to do is show you how I prepare these and then send them to our laser cutter for cutting out, and obviously we'll be setting layers up so that we don't cut out the lettering and the words. But I look forward to seeing you all next time. Take care, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.